Hello, I'm Bryce Knorr, Senior Editor of Farm Futures Magazine. Welcome to The Buzz for Thursday, April 25th, 2013. Weather continues to dominate the market this week. While that's hardly unusual, the type of conditions we're seeing are unique, creating a lot of churning in the futures trade. Market analyst Paul Bergner lends us his perspective on this unusual year. Forecasts for Midwest farmers are finally turning warmer and drier, which could get some farmers into the field next week. Corn planting progress is slow. USDA reported just 4% of the crop in, compared to 16% on average. That number should improve over the next 2 weeks, but growers will still be dodging some rains over the next week in Iowa and Illinois, the two biggest corn-growing states. December futures made new 10-month lows on the improving forecast, triggering another small sale in our daily recommendations. New crop reversed higher Wednesday, but it will take a move over 550 to really turn around the downward momentum. What do you think, Paul? Can farmers get this crop planted in time? And what does that mean for prices?
Well, Bryce, it is still early, but from now till the 15th of May is really going to be a critical time. And one of the things that we're starting to see from the weather models is a little inconsistency. They're not entirely convinced that we're going to get warm and dry. They're not convinced we're going to get wet either. So I think there is some real concern in there. The warmer and drier weather would be nice. It'd be nice to get back on schedule. But I do think that if we get there, it's going to be hard to hold that price above $5. The way to get back above that 550 would be longer delays in the corn planting and a little bit more trouble there. On the old crop, those lower gas prices out there have bumped ethanol use up some, and we're getting close to last year's rates. I think that could help a little bit. It might be another supporting place if we're looking for something else there.
Old crop soybeans had the hot hand for the first half of April. Tight old crop supplies continued to increase the premium of May futures to deferred contracts until Wednesday, when the nearby broke its uptrending channel, triggering some liquidation. Still, prospects for a squeeze remain alive. May options stopped trading Friday ahead of first notice day Tuesday, with no beans registered for delivery and the river system shut down by flooding. The Coast Guard is slowly pulling sunken barges from the Marseille Dam on the Illinois River, but the waterway could be shut even after the Mississippi reopens as flood waters recede. Basis is well above futures, but highly volatile to say the least. News that China canceled 10.3 million bushels of old crop purchases appeared to deal old crop prices another bit of a blow today. The news for new crop exports is better, with USDA announcing the sale of 28 million bushels alone this week under its daily reporting system for large purchases. Still, November futures is struggling to stay above $12 a bushel, with more acres likely to go in this spring. Paul, what's it going to take for beans to hold the line, and how likely is it?
Well, I think that same weather that corn growers are looking for will be the best news for soybeans. The better the corn planting weather is, the better chance we have to hold that $12 price in soybeans. If we can get that corn in, get those acres planted, and not shift acres to beans, then I think that we've got a possibility of holding on to that $12 range. If we struggle to get those acres in, we get some more cold and wet, we delay corn planting, it's going to be hard on the soybean acre number, because that's going to increase. It'll then push on the price a little bit. On the old crop, we've now slid all the way back to really summer rates, and actually below summer export rates, with about 5 million bushels shipped last week. So we're really slowing that up after that robust winter, and it really is going to weigh on that old crop price, I believe.
Weather is also a big story in the wheat market this week on both ends of the plains. No spring wheat was reported planted in Minnesota or North Dakota, where a heavy snowpack is expected to melt quickly and cause another year of major flooding. To the south, winter wheat fields suffered their third major hard freeze in some areas. Overall conditions didn't decline much for winter wheat nationwide, but ratings suffered again in Kansas, where the wheat tour will scout fields next week. Many analysts aren't projecting production yet because crop development is so far behind. I've been putting out estimates since last fall and have Kansas at 285.5 million bushels right now, almost 100 million bushels below last year's crop. Still, wheat prices are range-bound. End users don't appear to be worried yet, either because they think wheat will be available or they don't have the money to buy it in any event. How long does the wheat market have before U.S. farmers will have to make up their mind on further sales, Paul?
Well, I think you've hit on a couple of the key points. That crop is really well behind normal. I think that may be helping a little bit on the frost. I think we could be seeing maybe a little less damage than expected because the crop is a little delayed, but it allows a little bit more time for pricing. I think once we get through that Kansas crop tour and really see what the crop looks like, I've recently spoken to a couple of producers who are kind of holding back. They've got a real nice 880 price for their revenue protection, crop insurance underneath them, and they're really still waiting for the crop to find out whether or not they're going to make a crop. At that point, they're going to do some pricing. By then, we'll also know what the extent of that damage is, and the market will start to price that in. So I think we're seeing guys really hold back, wait a little bit, and I understand that, and I do recommend that we sit and make sure that we've got a crop before we start pricing it.
Well, thanks, Paul. The calendar flips to May next week, and we'll be back with our estimates for that big May crop report. Be sure to join us then on the next edition of The Buzz.
We'll have to have more margin now, there isn't any doubt. So you better dash with a load of cash, or we'll have